My fiance cheated and tried to paint me as the villain when I found out. So I let her keep her story until I calmly removed every advantage she'd been living off and revealed the truth in one clean, unforgettable moment. I'm a 31-year-old guy, not flashy, not wealthy in the sports car sense, but stable. I work in IT for a logistics company. Good salary, boring titles, predictable hours, and the kind of work that makes your parents proud because it sounds secure. 2 years ago, I met Lena, 29. She was magnetic in a way that made you feel like your best self just for standing near her. She worked in marketing, posted perfect brunch photos, and somehow always smelled like expensive shampoo. She was the kind of woman strangers complimented in public, and I won't lie. Part of me loved that she chose me. We moved fast, but not recklessly, I thought. After a year, she moved into my condo. Important detail. The condo was mine. I bought it before I met her. My name was on the deed, my mortgage, my everything. When she moved in, we agreed she'd pay some utilities and groceries because she had student loans and I was in a better place financially. I didn't mind. I was in love, and honestly, I liked being the provider. It made me feel useful. Safe. Like I had a role. A year and a half in, I proposed. Wasn't a stadium proposal or anything, just a small moment in a park with a ring I spent way too much money on because I wanted her to feel adored. She cried. I cried. A jogger clapped. It was cheesy and perfect. We booked a venue. We picked colors. She started calling me husband as a joke. I let myself imagine the rest of my life like it was already decided. And for a while it was good. Not perfect. We had arguments about dumb stuff like dishes and my habit of answering emails at night, but normal couple stuff, the kind you think means you're real. Then I started getting this sensation I couldn't name. Like walking into a room and realizing a conversation stopped right before you got there. It started small, which is why it messed with my head. Lena became more protective of her phone, not in a dramatic way, just angled away on the couch, face down on the counter, charging it in the bedroom instead of the kitchen. She also started going out more with work friends, marketing events, happy hours, last-minute client thing. I didn't want to be the suspicious fiance, so I did what a lot of guys do. I told myself I was being insecure, but then the little clues started stacking. She'd come home and immediately shower. She'd get defensive if I asked how her night was. She started wearing this new perfume on weekdays, not weekends. And this is the weirdest detail, but she began humming. Like she had a secret happiness that didn't include me. One night, she fell asleep on the couch with her phone in her hand. That never happened. Her phone was basically glued to her, but she slept like she'd been drugged. I didn't grab it right away. I actually sat there for a full minute, watching her breathe, arguing with myself in my head like I was in court. Then her phone lit up. A message preview. Not the full text, just enough. Same place tomorrow? I can't stop thinking about you. The contact name was saved as Maya. I know what you're thinking. Maybe it was a friend. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe I'm paranoid. But my stomach turned so hard I thought I might throw up on my own living room rug. My hands were shaking. I opened the phone with her passcode. Yes, I knew it. We were engaged. We shared a home. We used each other's phones for music in the car. It wasn't some spy mission. It was normal. Until it wasn't. I opened the messages. Maya wasn't a Maya. It was a guy. Her coworker, Andre. How did I know? Because there was a selfie of him on a balcony holding a drink and smirking at the camera like he knew he was being admired. The messages weren't graphic, but they weren't innocent either. Lots of, I miss you, and I wish you were here, and last night was worth the risk. Then I saw a photo that made my vision go fuzzy. Her hand on his chest, ring visible, captioned by him with a heart emoji. My ring on her hand while she was touching him. I put the phone down gently, like if I moved too fast my whole life would shatter. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed next to her while she breathed peacefully, and my mind played the same scene over and over, trying to find an interpretation that didn't ruin me. The next day, I didn't confront her. I know that sounds weak, but I wasn't thinking about pride. I was thinking about reality. Because Lena didn't just live with me. She benefited from me in 100 quiet ways. My condo, my car, we shared, but it was mine. My insurance, my streaming accounts, my credit card we used for wedding deposits. And the part that made my chest feel tight, I realized I didn't actually know what she was capable of when cornered. So, I did something that didn't feel like me at all. I started collecting proof. I took screenshots of the messages, I emailed them to myself and saved them in a folder that looked like a boring work file. I took photos of the chat history showing dates and times. I checked our bank app and pulled every wedding-related payment. I opened my email and found the vendor confirmations, everything that showed what I paid. Then I checked the shared iPad we had in the kitchen, the one she used for recipes and Pinterest wedding boards. Her iMessage was synced. More messages, more dates. And then the real gut punch. She'd been planning. There were texts to Andre like, "After the wedding it'll be easier. He won't suspect anything." Another one. "Worst case, I'll be fine. The condo's basically ours anyway." Basically ours. I stared at those words until my eyes burned. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was strategic. She wasn't just cheating. She was using the future I thought we shared like a safety net while she did whatever she wanted. That was the moment my heartbreak turned into something colder. Not hate, not rage. Clarity. For 3 days, I acted normal. I kissed her cheek. I asked about her day. I nodded through wedding conversations like my mouth wasn't full of ashes. On day 4, she said, "You've been quiet lately." I almost laughed. "Just stressed," I said. She leaned in and kissed me. "Don't worry. After the wedding, everything will calm down." After the wedding. I realized then she genuinely thought she'd get away with it, that she'd stand in front of my family and say vows while messaging another guy about meeting up later. That night, she went out again. "Work dinner," she said, curling her hair like she was going to a photo shoot. "Don't wait up." The second the door closed, I did 2 things. I called my older cousin Mateo, who's a lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer, but close enough to give me the right kind of advice. I called the venue to ask about cancellation policies. Mateo listened quietly while I explained. I expected him to get angry for me. Instead, he got practical. "Do not confront until you've protected your finances," he said. "And do not do anything illegal or vengeful. You don't want your pain turning into a mistake." "I don't want to hurt her," I said, and even as I said it, I realized that wasn't fully true. I wanted her to feel what she'd done. Mateo said, "You can hurt her by removing access. That's not revenge. That's boundaries." He told me to separate accounts, change passwords, freeze shared credit cards, and document property ownership. He also told me something that felt like it was meant to save my life. "Do not argue with someone who benefits from confusing you." That sentence became my anchor. The venue told me I could get part of the deposit back if I canceled within a certain time. Same with the photographer. The caterer was stricter, but not impossible. The florist had a smaller deposit. It was like dismantling a dream piece by piece, with customer service voices on the other end asking, "May I ask the reason for cancellation?" I wanted to say, "Because my fiancé is lying to my face." Instead, I said, "Personal reasons." When Lena came home around midnight, she was smiling in that soft, satisfied way I'd noticed lately. She brushed past me and said, "You're still up?" "Couldn't sleep," I said. She kissed my forehead. "Aw, go to bed. I'll be there soon." She showered. Again. When she finally climbed into bed, she reached for my hand. "Love you," she whispered. I stared at the ceiling and said, "Love you too." It was the last lie I told her. 2 days later, I confronted her, but not like a movie. I waited until Saturday morning. She was in a good mood, wearing one of my hoodies, drinking coffee at the kitchen island like she owned the place. The iPad was on the counter, open to wedding ideas. Cute signage, she called it. I sat down across from her with my laptop closed. Can we talk? I asked. She glanced up. Sure, what's up? I breathed in slowly. How long has it been with Andre? Her face did something I'll never forget. It wasn't guilt, it was calculation. Like she was instantly weighing options. What? She said, laughing like I'd made a ridiculous joke. Andre, I repeated. Calm. Your coworker. I don't know what you're talking about, she said, eyes widening. Are you serious right now? I saw the messages, I said. Her expression snapped into anger. So you went through my phone. There it was. The pivot. Not I'm sorry. Not I messed up. Straight to making me the villain. We're engaged, I said. You were asleep. I saw the preview. I looked. You violated my privacy, she said, voice sharp. That's insane. Answer the question, I said. How long? She stood up. This is unbelievable. You're accusing me because you're insecure. I opened my laptop and turned it toward her. On the screen, the screenshots, dates, messages, her hand on his chest, the line about the condo being basically ours. She froze. For a second, I saw something like panic. Then her face hardened again. Okay, she said slowly. Fine, yes, I talked to him. Talked, I repeated. She threw her hands up. I made a mistake. It's not like I planned it. You've been distant. You're always stressed. You don't make me feel... Stop, I said quietly. That seemed to surprise her, like she was used to people letting her keep talking until she controlled the story. I'm not going to debate your justification, I said. I'm telling you I know. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Then she tried another tactic. Soft voice. Watery eyes. I love you, she said. It was stupid. It didn't mean anything. I leaned back and folded my hands. You texted him that after the wedding, it would be easier. Her eyes flicked to the screen again. I don't remember saying that, she said quickly. I clicked the screenshot bigger. Here. She swallowed. Okay, but... And you texted that the condo is basically ours anyway, I added. She flinched like I'd slapped her. That was just talk. No, I said, that was planning. Her voice rose. So what, you're going to throw away everything over texts? I looked at her for a long moment. You threw it away. I'm just noticing. Then the real escalation happened. She went from tears to anger like flipping a switch. You know what, she said. Maybe I wouldn't have looked elsewhere if you weren't so boring. You think stability is love? I felt something in me detach, like a final thread snapped. I'm going to make this simple, I said. The wedding is canceled. You're moving out. Her jaw dropped. Excuse me? This is my condo, I said. You're not on the deed. You're not on the mortgage. You're leaving. She laughed. A sharp, cruel sound. You can't just kick me out. I can, I said. And I will. I'll do it legally and calmly. But you're leaving. She stared at me, then did something I didn't expect. She smirked. Fine, she said. Then I'll tell everyone you're controlling, that you're jealous and paranoid, that you went through my phone and threatened me. My stomach dropped, not because I believed her, but because I realized she was willing to weaponize a narrative. I nodded slowly. Okay. That threw her off again. Okay? Yeah, I said. Tell them whatever you want. She squinted. Why are you so calm? Because I had receipts, Lena. Because I had proof. And she didn't know that yet. But I just said, because yelling won't change what you did. She stepped closer, voice low. You think you're going to ruin me? No, I said. You did that yourself. I'm just stepping out of the way. After she stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door, I sat at the kitchen island and stared at the coffee cup she'd been drinking from like it was a crime scene. My body felt weird. Not shaking, not numb, somewhere in between, like my heart was trying to beat but didn't trust the rhythm anymore. I expected to break down immediately. Instead, I felt embarrassed. Not of her, of me, of how many times I'd paid for dinner while she stared at her phone, of how I defended her to my mom when my mom said, "She seems a little intense," of how I'd been proud to be the stable one while she treated stability like a resource, not a partner. That night, she slept on the couch. I slept in the bedroom with the door locked like we were strangers in a bad Airbnb. I barely ate for 2 days. Food tasted like paper. My brain played the same loop. Her smirk when she said she'd tell people I threatened her. The casual cruelty of it. The way she used to call me safe like it was a compliment. At work, I stared at my monitor and realized I'd been holding my breath for hours. I went to the restroom just to breathe. And then grief hit me sideways. Not just grief over her. Grief over the life I'd pictured so clearly. A wedding, kids, holidays, inside jokes that lasted decades. It's humiliating how fast your imagination can build a whole future, and how violent it feels when it collapses without even a real sound. I also felt anger, but not the explosive kind. The kind that makes you whisper, "Never again?" to yourself in the mirror. I kept thinking about that text. The condo's basically ours anyway. The entitlement. The idea that my work, my savings, my stability was just something she could step into and claim if she played her cards right. I started to see our entire relationship through a different lens. She loved what I provided, but she didn't respect me as a person, and I realized something else, something that stung. I'd trained her to think she could, because I never made her earn access. I gave it. Here's where the "I took everything" part comes in, not in a criminal way, not in a vindictive, ruin her life way, in a clean, legal, irreversible way. I didn't steal. I reclaimed. Step 1, I separated everything. I removed her from the shared credit card I'd added her to for emergencies. I changed every password: streaming, Wi-Fi, smart lock app, banking, email recovery. I called my insurance and removed her as a driver from my policy. I locked my credit just in case. I took my car keys off the hook and kept them in my pocket. I also did something petty but strangely satisfying. I renamed the Wi-Fi network from Lena and Jack Home to Jack_only. Step 2, I documented my property. People don't realize how much chaos can happen in a breakup when you live together. It's not always screaming. Sometimes it's someone accidentally walking out with your things because they feel entitled to them. So I took photos of everything valuable: the TV, the laptop, the sound system, the furniture I bought. I pulled receipts from my email. I wrote a list. I also packed her things. Not dumping them in trash bags like a stereotype, neatly in boxes labeled by room. Clothes, toiletries, makeup, random chargers, wedding craft junk. I treated her stuff with more respect than she treated our relationship, because I wanted to be able to sleep at night. Step 3, I talked to the building manager. I explained that my fiancé and I were separating and she would be moving out. I asked them to remove her access to the building app. They were polite and neutral, but they did it. It was my unit, my account. Step 4, I canceled the wedding. This was where revenge started to feel spectacular. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was final. I called every vendor and canceled. I got back what I could. I moved the money into a separate savings account she couldn't touch. And then I did the one thing that made my hands shake again, even after all my calm planning. I told my family first, not with a huge rant, just the truth. Lena cheated. The wedding is off. I have proof. I don't want drama, but I'm not protecting her. My mom was quiet for a long time, then said, "Come over." My sister said something much less polite. Then Lena started telling people her version. I found out because her friend Jess, who I always thought tolerated me, sent me a message. "Why would you threaten Lena? She's scared." Threaten. There it was. My chest went cold. This was the part I feared. Not heartbreak, not loneliness. Reputation damage based on a story. I replied to Jess, "I didn't threaten her. She cheated. I have receipts." I'm not going to argue, but I'm not lying for her. Jess responded, she said you went through her phone and freaked out. I stared at that for a long time. Then I did the calmest, most devastating thing I could think of. I invited Lena's parents to coffee. Lena's dad always liked me. He was quiet, straightforward, the kind of man who measured people by what they did, not what they said. Her mom was warmer but had a sharp eye. When they arrived, Lena wasn't with them. I didn't invite her. I wanted the truth to exist in the room without her editing it. Her mom looked anxious. Jack, what's going on? Lena's very upset. I nodded. I'm going to show you something. I'm not asking you to take sides. I'm asking you to understand why the wedding is canceled. I opened my laptop and showed them the screenshots. Not every message, not anything intimate. Just enough. The romantic texts, the planning line about after the wedding, and the condo entitlement. Her mother covered her mouth. Her father's face went rigid. Her dad said, "Is that real?" "Yes," I said. "I wish it wasn't." Her mom whispered, "She told us you were being controlling." I swallowed. She also told someone I threatened her. That's not true. Her dad stared at the screen again, then said something that actually made me feel sad. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm sorry she did this to you." I nodded. "I'm sorry too. I loved her." Her mom asked, "What are you going to do?" "I'm asking her to move out," I said. "Legally and peacefully. Her things will be packed. I'm not taking anything that's hers, but she can't stay here." Her dad nodded once. "That's fair?" Then came the part that felt like the actual revenge, because Lena had been building a story. Jealous fiancé, controlling guy, invasion of privacy, emotional outburst. Poor Lena. And now her parents knew the truth. Her safety net knew. The people she counted on to validate her narrative had proof that she'd been lying. When she realized what I'd done, she exploded. She called me screaming. I put it on speaker and recorded it. Not to use publicly, just to protect myself. "How dare you talk to my parents?" she yelled. "I told them the truth," I said calmly. "You're humiliating me." "You humiliated us," I replied. "I'm just not hiding it." "You're obsessed with being right," she snapped. "I'm obsessed with being free," I said. Then she tried bargaining. Okay, she said, voice suddenly sweet. "We can fix this. Let's just reset. I'll cut him off. We can still get married. We can still..." "No," I said. Her sweetness vanished. "So, you're just going to throw me away?" I took a breath. "You didn't treat me like a person. You treated me like a plan." Silence. Then she said, quietly and venomously, "You think you're so smart. You think you won." "I didn't win," I said. "I woke up." On moving day, she showed up with 2 friends and a look on her face like she was arriving to reclaim what was hers. I was ready. I had her boxes stacked neatly by the door. I had a printed list of what was inside each one. I had my cousin on standby by phone. I had the building manager aware in case things got loud. No police, no drama, just structure. Lena walked in, eyes scanning the condo like she was choosing what to take. She pointed at my TV. "That's coming with me." I didn't raise my voice. "It's mine. Here's the receipt." I handed it to her friend. Lena pointed at the couch. "We picked that together." "I bought it," I said. "Here's the confirmation email." Her friend looked uncomfortable. "Lena." Lena's face flushed. "You're being petty." "No," I said. "I'm being accurate." She moved toward my office. "I'm taking the iPad." "That's mine," I said. "But you can have your Kindle. It's in box 3. She snapped, "I'm not leaving empty-handed." "You're not," I said. "You're leaving with everything that belongs to you." She stared at the boxes. Her life reduced to labeled cardboard. She tried the guilt angle again. "So that's it? 2 years and you just pack me up?" I looked at her and felt something I didn't expect. Relief. "Yes," I said. "That's it." Her eyes watered, but I couldn't tell if it was sadness or anger at losing control. one of her friends whispered. "Lena, let's go." Lena stepped closer to me, lowering her voice like she was trying to charm me one last time. "You know you'll regret this." I smiled slightly. Not cruel. Just certain. "I already regret not doing it sooner," I said. She flinched. Like that one sentence was the first thing that actually hit her. And then she left. But that still wasn't the fireworks. The fireworks came a week later. Remember how she threatened to tell everyone I was controlling and paranoid? She tried. She posted vague, sad quotes. She hinted about emotional abuse. She let friends assume. So, I did the final thing I'd been holding back. The one that felt like a switch flipping in my whole life. I told the truth publicly, calmly, with no insults. I posted a short statement on my social media, not a rant, not a call out, just, "The wedding is canceled. Lena cheated. I'm not discussing details, but I will not accept false accusations. Please respect privacy." Then I sent the screenshots privately to the few people who messaged me, accusing me of threatening her. Not everyone. Not to destroy her. Just enough to shut down the lie. And something interesting happened. People stopped messaging me. Not because they didn't care, but because the truth was so clear there was nothing left to argue about. The narrative she tried to build collapsed in real time. She lost the ability to be the victim in a story where she was the architect. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it satisfying? Yes, because the revenge wasn't me hurting her. It was me refusing to carry her lies on my back. 8. Decision and resolution. After Lena moved out, the condo felt quieter in a way that was almost eerie. Like the air itself was relieved. I expected loneliness to hit harder. And it did sometimes, especially at night. I'd sit on the couch and reach for my phone out of habit. Like I was going to text her a meme or ask if she wanted ice cream. Then I'd remember. And instead of pain, I'd feel this strange steadiness. I started doing things I'd been putting off. I reorganized the kitchen the way I liked it. I went to the gym consistently. I spent weekends with my family instead of wedding errands. I even started cooking again because I wasn't walking on eggshells. A month later, Lena emailed me. Not a heartfelt apology, not accountability, just, "I think you took it too far." I stared at the line and laughed out loud in my empty kitchen. I didn't reply. Because that was the final boundary. She didn't get access to my attention anymore. If you've never been cheated on, you might think the worst part is the act itself. For me, it wasn't. The worst part was how easily she tried to rewrite reality when she got caught. How quickly she shifted from, "I love you," to, "You're controlling," the second the consequences arrived. That taught me something I needed to learn as a man who prides himself on being stable and generous. Access is not the same as love. Someone can enjoy your stability, your home, your money, your kindness, and still not respect you. And here's the part I'll say for anyone who needs it. You don't need to scream to get justice. You don't need to destroy someone to get your dignity back. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is this. You stop funding the life they felt entitled to. You stop protecting their image at the cost of your own. You tell the truth once, calmly, and let it stand. You take back your space, your money, your peace, and you don't apologize for it. She didn't just lose a wedding. She lost the version of me who would have kept sacrificing quietly to keep the illusion alive. And I'm not proud of the pain, but I'm proud of the lesson. Love without respect is just someone borrowing your life.